think when we all get into that dip, we all get really comfortable, and I was susceptible to that too. And I thought, well, things are going better, the risk is low, and I'm going to go. And, I wouldn't have gone if I was feeling any symptoms. I felt perfectly healthy. I still, thank heavens, feel perfectly healthy, but we've seen the fallout of the danger of doing that. And I do regret that.
An election night get-together turns into a COVID outbreak. Fresno City Council member Mike Carbasi and Mayor Lee Brand testing negative after attending that small gathering where Fresno County Supervisor Steve Brandow was there knowing he exhibited a sore throat. He tested positive. And this week, Mayor-elect Jerry Dyer also testing positive back on Tuesday. Then, so did Granville Homes owner Darius Assemi, who also attended that dinner. Now, Dyer said his symptoms over the week worsened, and his bout with the virus has been like a roller coaster ride. He has experienced breathing abnormalities and feels like he's out of breath. Dyer also telling me later in the week, quote, "My wife has had symptoms, but mild. She tested, and so did my daughter, who does not live with us. Her husband, who is a police officer, tested negative yesterday, and that again was back on Thursday." Dyer says he appreciated everyone who reached out to him during this time, also saying he was also pleasantly surprised to receive a get well text from Governor Newsom, as well as a text message and phone call from former Governor Jerry Brown, both of them again wishing him well. Now, earlier in the week, in his first live TV interview, just hours after he learned he tested positive, Dyer joined me on your local election headquarters.
Hopefully it will pass and those symptoms don't return, but I'm getting better.
Well, we hope that as well. But, I'm really wondering, are you not happy with Supervisor Brandow for not at least staying home as he developed a mild symptom but decided to attend that election night get-together anyway without a mask?
Yeah, I haven't. I've talked to Steve a couple times, and I was not aware that he was actually displaying any symptoms prior to Tuesday. I wasn't around him that much Tuesday evening. 5 people had been invited over for a dinner, and fortunately I was in another room part of the night doing a Zoom media interview. But, it just goes to show you that you don't need much contact with someone if they have symptoms. So, but I didn't hear him cough. Someone else who was there said they did. But if he had symptoms, yeah, it would have been nice for you to stay at home that evening. But, it is what it is.
A lot of people have said this to me in just the last several hours, Jerry, and I want you to respond to this because you've worked with local and county health officials. You and other community leaders are very familiar with all the CDC guidelines that are nationwide, and not to have gatherings. What does it say to the public when even our local leaders don't always follow those guidelines? What's the message here?
Well, I don't know if those guidelines, are specifically prevent 5 people from coming together for a dinner, but maybe it does. I don't know. But what I can tell you is, I felt safe there in that environment. I really did, and just as if my kids come over with my grandkids, I feel safe in that environment. The unfortunate thing about COVID is you just don't know who has it. And, they can be asymptomatic and still carrying it. So, and I'm always very, very conscientious about wearing my mask. And, I do probably 80% of my meetings or more on Zoom. And so, this was just one of those things, and I debated, quite honestly, whether to go or not when I got invited. But I thought, it's a few friends going to get together for dinner. And I think that's the message. Even a few friends getting together for dinner can ultimately cause somebody to get the virus.
Thanksgiving's coming up. How do you feel you should treat that at this point?
Well, I think Thanksgiving should be treated like anything else. People have to be very, very careful about who they invite into their homes or where they go. The last thing we want to do, both my parents are elderly, and my dad had COVID and had a rough bout with it. And, the last thing we want to do is expose each other and then perhaps expose a loved one who's elderly or has a weakened immune system and then regret that the rest of our life. because that person gets seriously ill or dies. So, I just think for all of us, I know for me, it's a lesson well learned. And I can tell you in the future that I'll be one of the ones out there making sure that in meetings people are wearing their mask.
Before all of this happened, you did announce your transition team late last week, and there's some big changes. I want you to address those as well. A new city manager, Mark Standriff, no longer the communications director. You added a local media reporter to handle that. Your makeup of your team, why do you feel this is the best team to help you lead into the coming year, obviously in a pandemic, and transition not only on the local level, but also on the national level?
Yeah, I was very careful in who I selected on the team, and it began with the city manager. People are going to find out that Tommy Escueda is an individual that is highly intelligent, high performance. He's somebody that's going to take this city to new heights. He shares my vision, and I think we're going to have great things out of him. The team that's been built around him, Georgianne White, who has a ton of experience at City Hall. She 16 years as a chief of staff for 2 different mayors, plus had served in Gary Bredefield's administration as well, or not as administration, but as a council member. And then you have Francine Kane, assistant city attorney, brings a wide breadth of experience in that realm. And Greg Barfield, currently the FACTS transportation director, facilities and fleet. So he has a lot of experience, and he was a former council assistant for Oliver Bain. So, I got a really solid team in the city manager's office, and then in my office, in the mayor's office, deputy mayor is going to be Matthew Grundy. He's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity, a great organization, very connected with organizations, banking institutions. He was formerly a director of a national youth leadership organization, so ton of experience there.
Right.
And then I got Tim Orman, who was Lee Brand's chief of staff. So a lot of experience, and I think we have a really good, solid team.
Jerry, I only got a couple seconds here. I could talk to you all day long, as you know, but the police chief situation, I know an announcement is coming soon. When can we expect that? And we know that Deputy Chief Mark Salazar is still in the mix. Is he the favorite? I know maybe you can't announce that, but when do we expect the announcement?
I would anticipate us making an announcement in the next 30 days. It's very important. Arguably, this is the most important appointment that anyone can make in city government. I believe that, especially in today's time. And so it's more important to get it right than it is to get it done soon. And we're going to get it done right and have the right person in that chair.